Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. So we're currently sitting at a $1.72 trillion market cap, currently down 4.9%. Looking at the top 10, Bitcoin sitting at 36,111, Ethereum sitting at 2,434, Tether is Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 368, Cardano sitting at $1.03 still, XRP sitting at 60 cents, Solana sitting at 89.92, Terra sitting at 57.18, and then DOT sitting at 17.91. And as you can see, still a lot of red, or as I say, a lot of blood in the street. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're sitting at a 20. As we said from our earlier video, we're down from yesterday. We were at 23. Now we're back at a 20. And as you see, we've been in this range for some time, so there's still a lot of fear and uncertainty and stuff. And a lot of it stems from, Jerome Powell and the Fed, inflation, and kind of what they're going to do with their tapering and their interest rate hikes, and just a lot of uncertainty within the market in general. Coming over here to CNBC, kind of looking at these headways here when it comes to the stocks. SP 500, down almost 1%. Nasdaq is down 1.32%. And if we come over here, we can look at crypto, see a lot of red. So there was a lot of questions that was going on through Twitter and on YouTube and just within the community. They were asking, like, we didn't really hear anything damaging when it came to Jerome Powell and the Fed's official first speech when they were supposed to come out and talk about what their plan was. Pretty much, Jerome was saying right now it's almost like a wait and see. Like, they haven't really came out with an exact plan in regards of when it comes to the interest rate hikes. Scheduling out when they're going to start raising stuff. But when he came to this meeting where he was answering questions from a panel of members, people kind of asking him, they were all asking him the same question, but asking it in different forms. But pretty much he went from, we're just kind of wait and seeing, we don't really have a plan just yet, to when he was answering the questions in this meeting, in this interview here, he almost had the stance of like, okay, things are only going to get worse. So his stance was more, as they say, hawkish. So dovish, meaning like, not, it was almost as like dove versus hawk. So we'll just say good versus bad, just to put it in simple terms. But it was more hawkish in the sense of like, he was pretty much like, if things are going to get bad, inflation is going to keep ramping up. So we're going to have to be more aggressive. So that brought a lot of concern on to a lot of people, because it's like, okay, what does that mean? When he says we got to be more aggressive, are they going to, have multiple interest rate hikes, throughout the year? Are they going to be higher? Are they going to be 2%, 2.5% each, or like whatever the case is? Like, is there strategy because he says we got to be aggressive, or he's pretty much claiming we got to be aggressive? Is that going to affect, his stance and the Fed stance on inflation and what's going on in a more hawkish stance rather than a dovish stance? So obviously, as you could see in the market yesterday, if you were paying attention to the charts and Bitcoin and all that stuff, we had a lot of green. Bitcoin shot up to like, I want to say like almost 39,000, but then shot right back down. There's still, like, obviously we can see there's a lot of red within this period. So just that uncertainty of what Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to do have really been affecting all markets. So he was claiming before we had this official meeting here, this first one, they were talking about if everything was going according to plan in the first two meetings, we should have a set plan on kind of what our strategy is going on to combat inflation. But in this one, they didn't really come out and say anything. So it's like, okay, when are we gonna start hearing what their plan is? So as we come over here, we talked about this in our previous video. Here goes the the list of the FOMC meetings. So we were supposed to find out within in March kind of what their plan was, but now for him kind of almost kicking the can down the road, taking that approach right now, who knows when we're going to officially find out when they're actually going to start the interest rate hikes and stuff. So next meeting we could hear something. Who knows? They can come back out and say, hey, we're just going to kind of wait and see, kind of formulate our plan of attack based on how things are looking. But from the sentiment we got from this was totally different from the actual formal meeting. So I mean, clearly they know things are getting worse and it's only going to continue on that path. So they know they have to be aggressive to get this thing under control. But the big question is, okay, what does that mean? What are you going to do? His legacy's on the line. A lot of their legacies are on the line. It's like, okay, are they going to make the market a little bit more healthier? Are they going to be super aggressive when it comes to, raising the interest rates and collapse the economy? Like, what's going to be their strategy here? Because either way, there's a lot, there's negatives and positives, whether it's a positive in the meantime, in a short term, and negative in the long, or vice versa, whatever the case is. So I just wanted to bring that up. Coming over here to some more stuff that kind of touches on, we were talking about the earnings coming from the different companies. So Tesla was one of the big ones. So Tesla's shares have dropped. Look, 8.67%, and that's despite Tesla beating estimates on the top and bottom lines for their fourth quarter. So Tesla did great, but as you can see, they're down, as of today. So it's like, as you can see, no matter what positive news came out, a lot of companies are still being affected. These tech stocks are truly being affected. Obviously, you can see Netflix is up 7.15%, but also like Intel, fell 7%. Reporting, even though their fourth quarter earnings were reported better, and then you have other companies and so on. So no stock, no specific market is safe in right now in regards of like certainty of success and health of that particular market, based on the situation we're in our economy. So coming over here. This was huge. CoinDesk had put up an article. SEC rejects Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin ETF proposal. The rejection of a spot Bitcoin ETF follows precedent and underlines the SEC preference for ETFs that track the Bitcoin futures market. So, like we've been talking about in our videos, we've been waiting for a Bitcoin spot ETF for some time now. Since 2018, 2017, 2018? I mean, a while. So who knows, what company or what organization is going to be the first one to get the approval when it comes to the Bitcoin, spot ETF or whatever the case is. We know that, Canada already has their thing up and rolling. They've had success with it. So, I mean, who knows, whenever we do get this final, stamp of approval and we have a spot Bitcoin ETF, I mean, that could be the catalyst that, changes the trajectory of, our market and kind of where we're at. Coming over here, U.S. lawmakers challenge infrastructure bill's definition of broker. So remember, there was a big issue with the bill that was pretty much talking about the so-called, what does a broker entail? And they were talking about some of the complications that can come with it, requiring these organizations, these exchanges to pretty much. It says right here, the representatives proposed following a definition which avoids placing unworkable customer reporting obligations on parties who do not in fact have customers such as crypto miners and stakers. So that was a big thing that was coming out. So it's good to hear that, you have a group of United States representatives have challenged the infrastructure bill's definition of broker, believing it to be incompatible with the crypto ecosystem. So it's huge that we have representatives that, see what's going on and see like, hey, you're only going to, affect that market because it's not going to work for how that market operates. So we honestly need a group or an organization developed. They need to completely individually set up an organization that's specific for the crypto market because it's unique in every way. So we need something that's gonna not stifle or hinder innovation. It needs to be regulatory friendly whilst still holding these organizations, these companies, and these exchanges accountable. But that's what I believe needs to happen. And a lot of us in the community feel like we need that as well. You can't utilize old regulations, old rules that don't really apply to this new emerging technology of the crypto space. Coming over here, the Blockworks breaking. President Putin supports the government's proposal to allow regulated Bitcoin and crypto mining. So I'll put this up because obviously, to hear Putin's coming out, in support of all these things, and digital asset investor says, does it bother anyone that an ex-KGB agent from the Soviet era is more supportive of blockchain than the United States leadership? I fear for my children's future. Like, even though it makes me laugh, like that is so serious. Like things that's been happening within the crypto space, especially for like, the XRP community and, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit and the SEC attacking and going after other companies and other crypto projects. Like the things that we've been seeing, it's like, okay, what is this going to look like? If they're overbearing and over-regulating and stifling innovation and hindering, investors from developing their portfolios and achieving life-changing wealth and financial freedom, like the so-called investors are set out to protect, like what's the future going to look like for my kids? I have two sons. Like what's that future going to look like for them? So even though it made me laugh, it's so true. It's just like, okay, what are we doing, US? Why are we so behind the eight ball? We got to get on this. Coming over here, CoinDesk, it says Rio de Janeiro plans to put 1% of its treasury reserves in crypto. So we talked about, them adopting Bitcoin, trying to follow, El Salvador and Miami stance on things. It says we were really inspired by Miami. Rio's secretary for economic development says. He explains why on CoinDesk, spotlight sponsored by. So we're going to listen to what he says here right here.
Well, we were really inspired by Miami, actually. So the mayor just recently had a good call in an event here in Brazil. In this event, our mayor here, Eduardo Paes, and the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, had a really good talk with the public about this thing. Mayor Suarez gave the Brazilians and Cariocas their experience in Miami, and we believe we have some characteristics that Miami also has. I mean, we have the beaches, we have a good place to live, we have creativity, we have people that like to be outdoors working in their computers. So we were more inspired.
So that's good. That's another positive. I mean, as you can see, adoption is happening. People are seeing the writing on the wall. They see where this thing is going. The crypto market is massive. So coming over here, this is on Blockworks. It says analysis: 2021's top 10 NFT traders pocketed 185 million as the market went mainstream. As the market matured, reputable NFT projects with high liquidity became valuable commodities, according to the new report by blockchain analytics firm I think it's Nansen. So, this is just another positive. We talk a lot about, the metaverse and NFTs and how they've just been exploding. This is massive. This is another positive within our space because it's a part of our space. It's blockchain technology. It's the crypto market. It's NFTs. It's metaverse. We have DeFi. We have so many sectors within our space that people are paying attention. They're seeing the writing on the wall. They see the future with this space. This is the future. So that's just another positive I wanted to bring out. And I wanted to end here with Pomp's tweet because I feel like it's simple and it truly brings to light the importance of truly understanding, our crazy market when it comes to the crypto market. We know it's super volatile, but it offers so much to us investors. So it says, new post: long-term investors have less stress. Geopolitics, noise. Fed decisions, noise. Wall Street adoption, noise. Sentiment, noise. Price, noise. The key to generating outsized returns over decades is to ignore the noise. Focus is a superpower. So I thought this was extremely powerful that Pomp had put this on there because it's true. It's like me personally, I've noticed when I'm trading in and out of things based on, news, buy the rumor, sell the news type stuff, or, based on, there's FUD in the market. Even from my experience early on back in 2017, like I've noticed, I've done, decent, but I've noticed when I've bought solid projects that I've truly have high conviction in and I've held them, over the past 4 years, I've done way better. So he put up this graph here, and obviously we cover the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index chart every day. And it says, the Fear and Greed Index, and then obviously it shows extreme greed versus extreme fear. The whole point is like, our market is volatile. You can see this, within a week span. It really doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, when you zoom out, you can see from Bitcoin's inception, just Bitcoin alone, Bitcoin's inception till now, it's literally just been an upward path. So if you look at the entire crypto market, now that we have, NFTs and the metaverse place, gaming, DeFi, you have all these different sectors within our space. Traction is happening. Adoption is happening. So if you really just zoom out, have high conviction, do your due diligence and invest properly based on, what you understand, have high conviction on what you hold, then what's the problem with holding? I thought that was powerful. I wanted to bring that out. Thank Pomp for putting that out. I forgot to like it here. Let me go ahead and like it. But yeah, with all that being said, stay strong. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.